Alright, so I tried to record this video on the big camera, the big Sony. I like that camera a lot. But it was so noisy in here, and I got frustrated with kids coming in and out and dogs barking and people ringing the doorbell. I decided I was going to switch over to the small Canon, which I like very much too, and carry this one on the road with me. But it's simpler, and I can just look into it and I can record something, and I don't have to deal with all the other stuff about setting this up. So here we go. The first thing, I'm Anthony Iannarino. You know me from thesalesblog.com, or if you don't, you should go look over there. This is youtube.com/Iannarino, where I do a show called Every Day. I'm also the author of this book, The Only Sales Guide You'll Ever Need, which is a bestseller, and you can get it on Amazon right now. It's on Kindle. It's also on Audible if you would rather have me read you the book. And about 60 days from now, book number 2, The Lost Art of Closing. And you can see right there that this says this is an uncorrected proof for limited distribution. This is called a galley copy, and it's what you send out to influencers, and it's what you use down the final stretch to make any changes that an editor has to the book. I've seen the book for the last time. When this goes out, it's done, and all I'll get from this point on is a hardcover copy in the future, and I will have no say as to what that looks like anymore from this point forward. I'm excited about that, but what I want to talk about today is something very different, and it's about how important it is for you to have a pipeline, because your pipeline is what inoculates you from bad things happening. If you have a full pipeline, you can have a deal fall out and you're okay. If you have a full pipeline, you can have a date push and it doesn't matter, you can still make your number. And if you have a full pipeline, you have coverage so that if anything happens, you've got an insurance policy that says, look, I have more deals than I need. And I'm not pretending that that's easy to do. Prospecting is difficult. But I want to share a story with you, because when I was younger and I rode a bicycle, and I stopped riding a bicycle because every one of my friends have been hit by a car while riding the bike, and that's put a definite change in their lives. And one of them actually lost their life, and I stopped riding a bike after that happened because there's so many people texting. But at this time, I was riding every day, and I was training to ride across Death Valley. And I hired a coach, and the coach gave me daily assignments. And some days I'd ride for 30 minutes, and some days I'd ride for 8 hours. But every day there was some assignment, something for me to do, including resting. And I was really good at following that, and I got fit, and I was riding a century or 100 miles every weekend. And at one point, I got really busy at work, and I started missing some days. And I tried to make it up on the weekend by adding a little bit additional time. And my coach didn't say anything then. But then I missed a week. And I said, listen, I'll just double up and I'll ride 2 centuries over the weekend. I'll ride Saturday and Sunday. And he said, wait a second, you're making a mistake here. Here's the thing. You can't make up all of the workouts that you missed throughout the week by riding longer on the weekend. What you're trying to do is cram fitness. And you can't cram fitness. Fitness is 1 hour a day, every day, and you do your exercises. It's not 8 hours on Saturday, and then you're allowed to miss these other days. It's this commitment, this daily discipline of every single day that's going to allow you to reach your goal and ride a bicycle across Death Valley. And he was right about that, and I knew he was right as soon as he said it, because I recognize that so many people in sales try to cram success in a quarter, and they try to cram prospecting. So they'll do no prospecting for a month or 6 weeks, and then they'll think, well, I'm going to sit down now and I'll force myself to do 8 hours of prospecting. And they don't force themselves to do 8 hours of prospecting, and even if they did, it wouldn't make a difference, because the fact of the matter is prospecting is a discipline that has to be done every day. It doesn't mean the whole day, but it also doesn't mean that you can skip days and weeks and months and still be successful in sales, because you can't. So the main lesson is, look, you have to do some prospecting every day, because sales is made up of 2 parts. It's opportunity creation and it's opportunity capture. Those are 2 very, very different things. And you need to have the opportunity creation fueling the ability to do enough opportunity capture to make your number. But you can't just focus on opportunity capture and think, well, I'll be really good at selling. Because even if you're really good, even if you have a really high close rate, you can't avoid a decision maker leaving. You can't avoid the client having a change in their priorities and pushing the date. You can't avoid having a competitor come in, make a better case than you made, and beat you for an account. The best salespeople lose accounts. There's nobody undefeated in sales. It doesn't work that way. Undefeated doesn't work in anything except maybe boxing with one guy, Floyd Mayweather. Everyone else has got a loss on their record. And you're going to have a lot of them in sales, because when we play the game the best, we still sometimes lose. But if you want to inoculate yourself from bad things happening, having a full pipeline is the only thing that will do it. If you have a full pipeline, you can afford to lose a deal. You can afford to have a deal push. You can afford to have stakeholders decide that a no decision is better than the decision to change that you've asked them to make. The only thing that you can do is control the part of it that says, I'm going to prospect and I'm going to build enough of a pipeline that no matter what happens, I'm going to be successful and I'm going to be able to make my number. I'm Anthony Iannarino. This is Everyday. Hit the subscribe button and I'll see you tomorrow.